We look at all of this and we focus on tonight's primaries, among them Nebraska's. Welcome to former Nebraska Governor Dave Heineman. Great to see you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Liz, it's great to be with you. Let me just start by saying thank you for coming to Nebraska for Warren Buffett's annual meeting. I saw you out there, but you were too busy. I couldn't even say hello.
You could have thrown some See's chocolate at my head. I would have stopped, Governor.
Hey, well, it was great to see you.
I'm sorry I didn't see you, but look, when I was in Nebraska, one thing I learned was you guys have a 3% unemployment rate compared to the rest of the nation, which is 5%. What are you doing right in the Cornhusker State?
Well, I can tell you what I did for 10 years as governor, and that was you lower taxes on businesses and individuals. You invest your resources in education and job training. We balanced the budget 10 years in a row, and we've got some great businesses out here, and that's one of the reasons that we fared so well.
Why aren't you running for president? And by the way, I have to ask you about this third-party run that Peter Barnes just discussed. And Ben Sassa's name was in there. He, of course, is the senator from Nebraska. Are you behind Donald Trump right now as the presumptive nominee, or would you go for a third-party candidate? Are you crossing your fingers here on any of these names?
No, I'm not crossing my fingers. I'm supporting Donald Trump. Last week, they named me the honorary state chair for Nebraska. Senator Ben Sass is a good friend of mine, but it's a fantasy world to think there's going to be a third-party candidate. First of all, it's difficult to get on the ballot. Secondly, where are you going to get the money? And third, who's going to do it? They're living in a dream world. It's not going to happen.
All right. Well, let's okay, so you are an avowed Donald Trump supporter. You're going to be helping the campaign. Good for you. Let's talk a little bit about taxes, because Governor Ricketts, the current governor of Nebraska, just basically put in a tax relief bill for landowners, specifically agricultural landowners. And again, this all seems to really be helping the state of Nebraska. Yesterday, Governor, I don't know if you saw on Fox Business, but the state of Illinois is in severe disrepair. We had protests in Chicago where, listen, those people and their property taxes continue to go higher and higher. So Illinois has no budget. They're in a total mess situation. Why can they not learn from what's happening in Nebraska? Am I missing something?
Well, yeah, they should learn from Nebraska. The key for any state is, first of all, you got to balance your budget. Put a focus on lowering taxes. It's got to be comprehensive, both income tax relief, property tax relief. That helps farmers and ranchers. It helps small and medium-sized businesses, and it helps the middle class. And I know Illinois has had a lot of problems over the years. They've had pension problems, but at the bottom line, they simply haven't been able to balance their budget. When you don't balance your budget, you're going to get in trouble, and it results in higher taxes and fewer jobs and more regulation.
Well, look, from taxes to trade, I'm a little surprised that you're as supportive of Donald Trump, only because he seems to have trade wrong in Nebraska. He had come out and given a rally in Omaha, and we can show you what he said about it, and then I'll have you comment. But as the fact checkers found, he was pretty wrong on this one. Let's listen to what Donald Trump said.
When you want to send your product to China, they don't take it. No, we don't want it, right? Now, when you send it to Japan, where they send the cars in, no tax, very little tax, practically nothing. They send the cars in. When you send your beautiful agriculture, the best in the world, you send your agricultural product in, what happens? 38% tax, right? We're not going to do this stuff anymore, folks. We're not going to play the games anymore.
Governor, China and Canada and Mexico are the top 3 out of 5, or the top 4 out of 5 trade partners to Nebraska. They take so much of your agricultural business. What would happen if he puts tariffs on any one of those nations?
Well, let me just say, I've been to China several times, Japan and other countries, and generally trade deals have been good for agricultural states because we ship more food all over the world. It's been not so good for manufacturing states and manufacturing industry, so I understand that. And I'm not quite sure where Donald got all his facts, because we continue to export a lot of Nebraska beef over to Japan. We've even been able to get it into China.
Does that not disconcert you when, you're saying, I don't know where he got his facts? We found it in 2 seconds.
Well, yeah, it is a concerning factor, and it's one of those things that, the Trump campaign's probably got to do a better job of. There's no question about that. But, Liz, let me say, He's touching a nerve with the American people, though, when he talks about trade. Republicans have always been for free and fair trade with a greater emphasis on free trade. Donald and the American public want a greater emphasis on fair trade. I understand that. We've lost jobs to China, Japan, and Mexico. That needs to be reversed, and that's one of the reasons he was so successful in the primary, in my opinion.
Governor Heineman, it would be great if you went to D.C. and I think gave some of your common sense from Nebraska. We appreciate you coming on Fox Business. Good to see you now.
Good to see you, Liz. Thank you.
Thanks so much.